jokes, I guess. I'm going to figure out how to do this. I'm told I should be able to. Look at that. Slideshow from the beginning. I'm Italian, so I cannot operate one of these and speak at the same time. My hands will fly all over the place. I want to thank you as well. I'm not going to speak specifically to Dutchess County's plan as dictated or suggested by the state of New York, but rather just to give you a little idea of where Dutchess County has been and why we really took on this challenge of collaboratively working with our towns, villages, and cities. First, I would offer you that I came into the Office of County Executive in 2012 staring at a $40 million budget gap and I inherited the depletion of the county's entire fund balance to balance the 2012 county budget. It was a lovely gift that was offered to me when I assumed office. But I came into serving county executive after serving 12 years as a village mayor, 6 as a member of the Dutchess County Legislature, and please don't hold this against me, 5 in the State Assembly. So when I came back to Dutchess County, just exiled in the State Assembly, when I came back to Dutchess County, it occurred to us that with the financial condition that we were dealing with the budgetary concerns we had, with the property tax cap, and oh, by the way, we knew, having served in the state legislature, that the governor was focused on this concept of changing the way local governments function. We knew we needed to confront the very question of efficiency, and I don't think anyone would suggest that if we had it all to do over again, that we would create a government structure in New York the way in which we have one today. So the very question that we posed before the towns, villages, cities, and Dutchess County as a whole was, how could we change the way we function in order to wring out what efficiencies and really deliver for the taxpayer the most effective services. I want to share with you a little bit of what we present in our comments to residents. Now, this chart could very well be your county. It could be 80%, it could be 60%, as Mark mentioned, it could be 90%. But in Dutchess County, 70% of what is our county budget is mandated by Albany or Washington. So that's 70 cents of every dollar we collect. And we reinforce this with taxpayers, and I found that my job as county executive is as much being a teacher, educator, as it is trying to administer government, trying to drill home the message that we are staring at a very significant problem, and that is that much of what we do is dictated by Albany or Washington. In Dutchess, that adds up to nearly $300 million of unfunded or underfunded mandates. I think you've been given a copy of Dutchess County's tax dollar. I offer this to you because it's been a very useful tool. When taxpayers see this, they begin to understand that for 5 cents on the dollar, we plow snow. So what we offer to residents is, listen, for 30 cents on the dollar, we can provide you those core critical services that you expect. As Mark mentioned, the People's Mandate, those things like 911 and Sheriff's Road Patrols, you know, those Office for the Aging and Senior Services. And then we, of course, reinforce that 70 cents of this dollar is dictated by somebody else. My colleagues, or former colleagues in the state legislature, don't like this side of the dollar bill because it's their phone number, and we encourage residents to call and email them. In fact, we have 9 senior centers in Dutchess County, and just about every one of those participants has that on their refrigerator. And they all ask the same question: how can we help? Call and email. Don't be rude, don't be impolite, but call and email state legislators when they come by to shake hands, as they often do, and then move on to the next hand. Hold them there for a few moments and explain to them that you want your senior center. And we offer this just, again, to show the context. So for us, 70 cents on the dollar dictated by someone else. Unlike what was just discussed, we don't have as many jurisdictions in Dutchess, but we do have over 300 layers of government in Dutchess County. 20 towns, 8 villages, 2 cities, water, sewer, fire, library districts, lighting districts, etc. This isn't to suggest that, as you know, that every one of these have employees or that they add enormous cost, but they do create inefficiencies and many times complicate the way in which government can or should function. Dutchess County has the most public water supplies of any county in the United States, an area that we continue to confront in order just to manage public water supplies, ensure public water quality. So we explain over and over again that it's 70 cents on the dollar, we have these layers of government, and we want to confront them in the most efficient way. So when I came into office, we began to focus on sharing services. Again, I sort of put on my old village mayor hat and thought, what would I not want to pay for, but could ask the county to give me? Now, of course, when I was a village mayor, I would have expected the county to give it to me for free. But nevertheless, these are areas that I knew that town supervisors and village and city mayors would want to talk about. So we focus on the delivery of shared services. And the counties we've done a series of mergers. I won't get into that, and I don't want to dive too deep on what county government has done to shrink the size of our county government, other than to say to you that we have the smallest workforce in Dutchess County in over 31 years. So we are a leaner county government today than we were those years ago. But within county government, in the Office of Central and Information Services, we designated our purchasing officer as our shared services coordinator. I mean, he or she in your community is the one going out and handling bids and putting together sort of those internal government functions. So we appointed a shared services coordinator. His job is to work with towns, villages, and cities to talk a little bit about what services what services are offered and what products can be purchased. With that, our in-house print shop created this handy catalog. It was interesting to me. I'm slightly younger than perhaps the average elected official in Dutchess County, so we created a digital catalog, and I thought that would be good enough and folks would go online. But the more towns, villages, and county legislators we met with, they said, you know, we need a catalog. So we'll be handing a few of these out. We created a shared services catalog. These are the services, the products, everything from IT and web design to toilet paper and road salt, and how to contact us to purchase it, to take part in the county's shared services program. You can have that too, Steve. Thank you. Additionally, we launched what we call Dutchess Delivery. This is sort of constant contact for government. And we created the module in a way that every town, village, city, school district, and jurisdiction can buy it. We have about half of our municipalities signed on to Dutchess Delivery. Again, this module allows the residents to sort of click the information they want to receive via email or text message. And of course, by integrating that and coordinating with other municipalities, in every town, village, or city that signs on, you can sign on for instance, the city of Poughkeepsie, Poughkeepsie Delivery, get their information, and in turn, get county information. And streamlining the communication process, trying to get information out in a coordinated way, and it has helped save a significant amount of funds for municipalities that historically either managed their own communications tool or created their own hard copy newsletter and started to hand it around or deliver it. Dutchess Dialogue is something that we've just recently launched as well. It's sort of an interactive communication tool where we provide basic information, perhaps about mandates or shared services, and then allow residents to click on information and answer questions and perhaps even buy services. Early on in 2012, we expanded Dutchess County's workers' compensation pool to allow municipalities to purchase workers' comp through us. This was the first time we had done such, and many of our municipalities bought in. Most of them saw anywhere from 20 to 50%, and actually we have one municipality that saw a 70% reduction in their insurance costs. I will offer you that not everyone in the workers' compensation world in the private sector like this concept, but municipalities are participating and seeing significant savings. Now I'm going to talk through, and Steve and NISAC wanted me to speak a little bit about the county's Municipal Consolidation and Shared Services Grant Program and our Shared Services Summit. I want to get to that one there, Michael. So we began to communicate with towns, villages, and cities, again telling them what services are offered, everything as I mentioned, through from cooperative purchasing, through heating oil and fuel, right down to toilet paper and road salt. And municipalities get these constant communications reminding them, you know, every so many years we have a new supervisor, a new board, so we educate them. We try to make sure this information gets out to town clerks and board members. Again, keeping the dialogue moving forward. Additionally, as I mentioned, Dutchess Delivery is a subscription portal, a module for communication. Many of our municipalities have bought into that as well, along with then Dutchess Dialogue, which is this new tool that we're using to communicate with the public as well. It's a handsome young man. Anyway, so our workers' compensation pool, as I mentioned, expanded access to Dutchess County's workers' comp. As I mentioned, many municipalities seeing significant savings, and of course this all adds up to what we'll present to the state. But beyond that, and quite frankly, having served in Albany, I can tell you I really don't have much patience for what they want. The question is, can we change the way we do business in order to improve effectiveness and wring out savings and efficiency for the taxpayer? And this is one area where we've seen significant savings both for the county and our municipalities. Now, this is the program that I wanted to end with and give you a little more detail. When I came into office, I inherited a sales tax shared contract with municipalities that had lapsed some years prior. So it was my job to take on the renegotiation of that contract. Dutchess County, of course, has a sales tax like every county in the state. We share a percentage of that with our municipalities. Ours is done by contract with the two cities, City of Beacon and City of Poughkeepsie, and we share those dollars only with towns, villages, and the cities, not school districts. 18.5% of what we collect in sales tax is redistributed to municipalities based on a contract that was established in 1975, 1980. So when I came into office and didn't have this contract finalized, it seemed to us we should probably get this done. I would not encourage you to take on renegotiation of sales tax contracts. It was about the most difficult experience of my public life. I don't know that I would wish it on my worst enemy. But nevertheless, I came into office again saying to municipalities two things. One, we had to overcome our budget gap, but in the same respect, the way in which we distributed sales tax, we gave you money for existing. Now, the best I could tell, every county legislator and the county executive gets campaigned against for creating a sales tax. So it is not the sales tax of our municipalities, but rather the county's sales tax that we, through contract, distribute. Those dollars had historically been distributed with a weight given to the two cities because that's where the sales tax was generated. Of course, since 1980, the suburbanization of America meant that the dollars weren't being created in the city centers any longer, but rather in the towns, and they wanted their fair share. So we were able to enter into an agreement that does distribute those dollars more fairly based on population, irrespective of city or town borders. And at the same time, we recaptured about $6 million of what we had historically distributed. That went over very, very well. But at the same time, we put before the municipalities a $2 million grant program. What we said to them was, listen, you're going to get 85% of what you've always gotten for existing. You can continue to use these dollars for operations, but at the same time, we're taking $2 million, we're putting it on the table in a competitive way, because I have been to the supervisors and mayors meetings. I have been a mayor. I've heard them speak about all of the great consolidation and collaboration ideas they have, and they always say, but we don't have the resources to implement them. So you can use our sales tax to do it. So we put on the table $2 million, created a municipal consolidation and shared services grant. It's a competitive grant where municipalities once a year apply. Our Community Development Block Grant Advisory Council, they manage this program, and HUD grant programs for the county consider applications, and I'll just walk you through a few. We had 11 municipalities come together to apply for and create the information technology, software, and hardware to share planning and zoning technology, again, irrespective of municipal boundaries. We had municipalities, 3 of them in fact, work together on a single municipal sewer service, upgrading their system, creating a more integrated billing and administrative structure that saved them money. And several of our municipalities have worked together now to do intermunicipal highway and snow removal services. Again, putting the dollars in front of them to buy the equipment, hire the administration, and use the technology to streamline snowplow and highway services. We've had now 2 years running. We have the City of Beacon consolidating their firehouses. And this year, we have 2 separate fire districts that applied for the legal dollars to consolidate into one. It will be the first time, should it be successful, that Dutchess County has had, in fact, the elimination of one of its fire districts or taxing jurisdictions, as best we can tell, ever. So this has been a very successful initiative. Now, to end, what came out of this grant program, this competitive grant program, is once a year we announce the grants, but we also sit around the table and sort of discuss what exactly has been accomplished, supervisors, mayors, and county administration, and try to learn from one another. So what we're seeing now in the second year of this grant program is municipalities that hadn't thought necessarily about what they could apply for, using the examples of others that had gotten grants in the first year, and they're applying them. What they also suggested to us is once a year we should get together to kind of reevaluate the program, evaluate where we are, and sort of create a catalog of grants that have been awarded and projects that are underway so that they can learn from one another. So this year, October 15th, we are hosting our first Shared Services Summit. Again, the concept is to dive deeper into how we deliver services, again, irrespective of municipal level. We have a few areas that municipalities and we want to focus on, but specifically to talk about how we can better coordinate, more effectively deliver service, and then also how do we strengthen the grant program. What I would say to you is that this has been a remarkably successful and difficult process. It strikes at the very heart of what is the status quo. There is no village, city, or town that isn't concerned about home rule authority and whether or not the county is going to sneak in. So what we've attempted to do is incentivize consolidation and shared services by empowering municipalities to put together their programs, and then Dutchess County, using what limited resource we have, paying for it. And that, for us, has been an effective model that will produce and has produced hundreds of thousands of dollars of savings, and we expect will create the framework for us to continue to expand our shared services and consolidation efforts. So with that, I look forward to answering some questions, and thanks for hanging around this morning. Thank you.